Carson City, the Superdome, home of the New Orleans Saints, where tonight the Saints are at home for an NFC West meeting with the San Francisco 49ers on ABC's Monday Night Football. Hello again, everyone. Frank Gifford with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. Happy you're with us for this one as the 49ers come in tonight trying to become the first team this season in the NFL to win their division title. The Niners are 9-2, a win over the Saints tonight, and they will have locked up the NFC West, and they can work on their next priority, that is home field advantage in the coming playoffs. Meanwhile, the 4-7 Saints limp into this one tonight. This is a forget-it year for the Saints. They were hit hard by the salary cap. They lost a lot of players seemingly to old age, and they made wholesale changes. But then again, Al, the 49ers also have made some major changes from last year, and this is a team actually is better now than the team that played in the NFC Championship the last 2 years.
Just ask Dallas. They beat them 21-14 2 weeks ago. The last time we saw the 49ers on Monday night, it was opening night. The very first game of the season, they destroyed the Raiders 44-14. They were rolling along, but then they hit a big speed bump on October 2nd. They lost to Philadelphia 40-8. That was the game in which Steve Young was yanked, and he was angry. George Seifert didn't want him to take any more of a beating. The following week, they fell behind at Detroit 14-0, but rallied, and they have been rolling since, averaging 30 points a game, and tonight seeking their 7th consecutive victory. To win the division, that's a foregone conclusion. They will do that either tonight or next week or the week after. But what the 49ers are really looking for right now is home field advantage in the playoffs and avoiding any serious major injuries as they seek an unprecedented 5th Super Bowl crown. Tonight, Dan, they face New Orleans, and we've been looking at the Saints a lot. They've had a lot of success over the past few years, but this is a very different-looking New Orleans team we're seeing.
How do you spell rebuilding, Al? It starts with an R. The New Orleans Saints under Jim Mora, he's been the coach there now for 9 years, and they have had a lot of success here. Keep in mind, the only losing season was Mora's first back in 1986. He has had to jettison a lot of high-priced, older talent, and he is in the process of rebuilding this squad, and it is painful with only 4 wins on the year. They have to do some things, though, and they have to do them immediately if they have a chance of winning this game tonight. One, they must run the football better. There are only 28 teams in the NFL, and the Saints are dead last. They're 28th in running the football. Last week against the Raiders in a loss, they only got 16 yards the entire ballgame. The other thing they must do is play better pass defense. They have given up a total of 20 touchdown passes. That's tied with a couple other teams for worst in the National Football League as well. Unfortunately for the Saints, it's the age-old problem when you play a team as good as the 49ers. They have to play a near-flawless game to win.
And tonight at the Superdome in New Orleans, a big crowd to look on. And the Saints coming off their loss last week to the Raiders. 2 weeks ago, they beat Atlanta, taking on the red-hot 49ers with the longest winning streak in the league. And Doug Bryant, the rookie, sends it down to the 11-yard line. Tyrone Hughes fumbles at the 21-yard line. The ball is loose, and it is recovered at the 27-yard line by the Saints. So the Saints avoid an early disaster as Hughes coughs up the football, but Scott Adams was the man who created the fumble when Hughes runs into him, number 64. And the ball is loose. Tyrone can't come up with it, but the Saints are able to recover up at the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 as Jim Everett in his first year. As the Saints gives it to the rookie out of Arizona State, Mario Bates, and he picks up 5 up to the 32-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 5. Jim Everett did very well with the Rams in the late 80s and then really had his problems in the 90s and came over for a 7th-round pick. Mario Bates, the rookie. Lorenzo Neal, the blocking back. Early having a fine year with Michael Haynes, the former Atlanta Falcon. And the guys up front, Roque, Dombrowski having a great year. Ulanake, the former Dolphin, Port, and Cooper. Irv Smith, the starting tight end. We'll also see a lot of Wesley Walls. And here is Bates on 2nd and 5. And he gets across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Lee Woodall, the rookie, makes the tackle. It'll be third and short. 3rd and 1 upcoming. The 49ers with a 4-3. Dennis Brown, Bryant Young, the rookie out of Notre Dame, Stubblefield, and Ricky Jackson coming home, the longtime former Saint. Woodall, the rookie from Westchester, Division II school. Plummer, the ex-San Diego Charger. Norton, the former Dallas Cowboy. Eric Davis and Deion Sanders at the corners. Tim McDonald and Merton Hanks, the safeties. It's a great secondary. 3rd and 1 at the 36-yard line. Out of the eye, they give it to Bates again. And a first down as Mario takes it to the 39-yard line behind the block by Lorenzo Neal, the fullback. First down, New Orleans.
Well, Dan said it at the very top of the show. Jim Mora wants to run the football. He wanted to run it last week, too, but he also pointed out, as Dan did, that they only had 16 yards rushing last week. And Bates, 2 weeks ago against Atlanta, had 141 yards. So where is the rushing game? Who knows?
Well, I know one thing. How do you start it off any better if you're Jim Mora and the Saints than 3 plays and all of them runs for a first down?
After they were able to recover the fumble on the opening kickoff, Scott Adams recovered it as Everett throws, and his first pass of the game is incomplete to the 49er 45-yard line. Michael Haynes was the intended receiver.
And Al, you touched on the fact this is a great secondary for the 49ers. They're perhaps even greater than you said, because they are not getting a lot of pass pressure. They only come into tonight with 24 sacks. They're getting no pressure from the outside. They brought Tim Harris back hoping to get something from the outside. They're playing Ricky Jackson out of position because of the injury to Richard Dent. The one thing they want to get resolved before they go into the playoffs is getting some kind of pressure on the passer from the outside, and they're going to look for it tonight.
On 2nd and 10, they probe the middle again, with Bates picking up about 3 out to the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 7. 2 weeks ago, Bates had a big day. Frank talked about that a moment ago. But last week against the Raiders in L.A. in the first half, 4 rushes, minus 5 yards net.
Well, at least gives you something to talk about at halftime.
That's a good stat. A bad stat for New Orleans, but also the Raiders kept the ball almost the entire first half, so you can blame some of that on the New Orleans defense.
3rd and 7, 4 wide receiver set out of the shotgun. Everett stepping up, and then Everett gets hit as he throws. His arm was coming forward. It's an incomplete pass.
That's Tim Harris.
Tim Harris makes his presence felt immediately.
And he's working against William Roaf, the all-star left tackle of the New Orleans Saints. There's Richard Dent still nursing that bad knee on the 49ers sideline.
And just great coverage downfield on the 49ers. We talked about their secondary, but Everett had time to throw the football. He stepped back into the pocket. Harris went by him, came back, and it was just fine coverage, man for man, deep for San Francisco. They did a superb job.
Well, that's one way to make a statement. The first play of the year for Tim Harris, and he's in on the quarterback.
Barnhart scoops up the low snap. Dexter Carter, after fielding it at the 23, is run out of bounds up at the 32-yard line. Leslie Walls with the low snap, but Barnhart got it away. A 34-yard kick. So the 49ers have it for the first time when we come back. 11 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Steve Young seeking a 4th consecutive passing championship, leading the league again this year. 22 TDs, only 8 picks. Ricky Waters and William Floyd, the rookie, in the backfield. Taylor and the incomparable Rice at the wideouts. Brent Jones, another fine year at tight end. And the line is now healthy again. Wallace, Sapolo, Oates, the former Giant, Peace, and Barton. From the 33-yard line, Ricky Waters with a big hole, and that healthy line gives him a big enough hole that he's able to pick up 8 right through the middle. Winfred Tubbs, the rookie from Texas, makes the stop. Wayne Martin's having a terrific year. Warren, the longtime veteran at nose tackle, and Joe Johnson, a rookie from Louisville. Darian Connor is the former Falcon. Mills has been here a long time. Tubbs made the last stop, and Ronaldo Turnbull on the outside. The corners, Spencer and Hughes. The safeties are Lumpkin and Buck. It's been a very porous secondary, and this is a bad team to have a porous secondary face, because the 49ers are obviously terrific in terms of passing. That one is incomplete, intended for John Taylor.
And Tyrone Tyrone Hughes gets tested right away. He is in there because Carl Lee is unavailable tonight. But now you touched on that secondary for the Saints. They lost 4 out of 5 secondary members from a year ago, and the one they kept, Vince Buck, has moved to safety from cornerback, and Tyrone Hughes, who makes the big plays somehow. He's only 5'9", 175 pounds, and I'm sure they'll go at him, but he is a big playmaker, and he just about made one here.
Saints fans are hoping that all their coverage looks like that tonight. 3rd and 3 at the 40-yard line. And over the right side, picking up the first down. The 49ers on the ground. Ricky Waters, George Seifert took over when Bill Walsh retired after the 1988 season. And there is his regular season mark. And speaking of Bill Walsh, if you missed it today, Bill has retired again after 3 years at Stanford. He is stepping down as the head coach of the Cardinals.
Well, his legacy certainly continues here in the offense of the 49ers, and certainly spread throughout the entire league.
After Dexter Carter picked up the first down, the pass caught by John Taylor. That slant takes it to the 40-yard line of the Saints. He's tackled there by Sam Mills, a 17-yard pickup.
The other man who will be remembered as the man who played with Jerry Rice, John Taylor, one of the really fine outside receivers, now getting up there, 32, 33 years old, makes a quick move on Tyrone Hughes to the inside. And I'll tell you, you better not let him get away because he still has the speed. He can really motor, and he is the reason, one of the reasons Rice has had such a great career. You have got to pay attention to John Taylor.
From the 40-yard line, Ricky Waters picks up 2.5. Joe Johnson is the first to greet him, their top draft pick out of Louisville, number 94.
The only way to have success against San Francisco in their passing game. And the 49ers have struggled at times in the past playing the Saints, especially here in the Superdome. It is that the first man closest to either Rice or Taylor when they catch the pass has got to be the man that makes the tackle. Jerry Rice, John Taylor are exceptional after the catch, and they have lived and have ruined people by breaking tackles and taking a short pass and making a big gainer out of it. The Saints must tackle well tonight.
On 2nd and 7, here is Ricky Waters. Thrust out of bounds at the 31, and the flag goes down at the end of the play. He's close to a first down, about a yard shy. Gordon Carter is tonight's referee.
We got a couple good blocks from his lineman, Deason Barton, coming all the way across, but it's coming back.
George Seifert, what a marvelous job he's done with this football team, taking it over from the legend, Bill Walsh, and just improving upon that.
Holding number 82 offense. 10-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. Repeat, 2nd down.
It might sound bad to say it now, but one of the other things that Jerry Rice and John Taylor do really well is block downfield for the running game. At times, John Taylor gets called for the hold. There he is against Tyrone Hughes.
Boy, that's a tough call.
Didn't look like holding to me. That looked like a pretty good block by John Taylor.
They wouldn't call that on an offensive lineman.
Whoa, no way.
Ticky-tack call. 2nd and 11. It's Jerry Rice lined up in the backfield. Brent Jones in motion as the 49ers give him a different look, and they throw it to Rice. And Jerry gets taken down at the 32-yard line. Ronaldo Turnbull takes the stop, and through the years, the 49ers have given you all kinds of different looks, and there was another new one.
Well, they like to get it, as Dan said, to either Taylor or Rice, and particularly Rice. He's such a fine runner after he catches the ball, and that is just a high percentage pass. That's this type of offense.
Steve Young gets poked pretty good at the end of that.
Pretty good on that.
He felt that he was pushed a little too much by Wayne Martin. He makes a pretty valid point. Martin gave him that extra little shot with his arm.
3rd and 3 at the 33 on the Niners' opening drive, and the catch is made for a first down at the 27-yard line. It is Dexter Carter hauling it in with 7:53 to play in the opening quarter. No score.
So far, we've seen Rice, we've seen Taylor, we've seen Dexter Carter, and next I'm sure we'll see Brent Jones. And we talked about Taylor on one side, Rice on the other, but the man who makes it all work so well for them is the tight end that is like a wide receiver himself, Brent Jones, having a great year, 35 receptions, 6 touchdowns, number 84. He can get open perhaps better than any tight end in the league today.
First and 10 at the 27 with Jerry Rice in motion. Back to the ground they go. Ricky Waters inside the 25. He picks up about 3. Sam Mills makes the stop.
Ronaldo Turnbull, number 97, a little upset with William Floyd, the fullback. One thing the Saints are doing early is that they are flowing to the football. I think they realize it's not hard as a player to get up, to get excited about playing a team the quality of the 49ers. You know that you better play your best game of the year or you're just going to be eradicated. And I think Jim Mora didn't have to sell his club on that. Division rivals, they realize that on their own.
This drive began at the 49er 33-yard line. It is 2nd and 7. Young scrambling.
Oh, boy.
And takes it to the 22-yard line. Joe Johnson and Sam Mills converge on the hit.
You know, it's what Steve Young talked about coming into the Superdome, and he does it in a laughing way because you never really hear him complaining about a whole lot of anything, but it's tough to hear out here. He tried to change that play at the line of scrimmage. He changed it. A couple of the Niners picked it up. I think a couple of his receivers to his right did not get the change. It is so noisy. The sound sort of reverberates around in here, and it's very difficult to change the play when you start moving down towards that red zone.
If I was Steve Young, though, I'd minimize the number of shots that I take standing up like that.
3rd and 5 from the 22-yard line as he tries to keep the drive alive, and that pass is incomplete. Intended for John Taylor. Vinnie Clark just picked up after he was waived by the Falcons. Got into a spat with June Jones. They waived him. Green Bay and New Orleans claimed him. And because New Orleans has a worse record than the Packers, they got him.
Well, the former number 1 draft pick for the Green Bay Packers, Vinnie Clark, and good football player.
Kind of unusual. Both teams with a player playing on the initial series that just came into camp this week. Tim Harris for the 49ers and Vinnie Clark for the Saints. It didn't take these guys long to get indoctrinated.
Doug Bryan, the rookie from California, a 40-yard attempt. Klaus Wilmsmeyer to hold, and he boots it through. So with 5:54 remaining in the opening quarter, the 49ers try to clinch the West. Lead it 3-0. The Superdome in New Orleans. Home of the Saints, home of the Sugar Bowl as well. 49ers leading it 3-0. Bryan sends a bouncer down to Derek Ned, and he takes it from the 10 back up to the 28-yard line. Tackled there by Adam Walker. 5:45 left in the first. 49ers 3, Saints 0.
Sugar Bowl are on the line when undefeated Alabama battles Florida. It's the SEC Championship presented by Dr. Pepper, Saturday on ABC.
There's Brad Muster on the New Orleans sideline. He has not been very productive this year, been bothered by a hamstring, came here last year from the Chicago Bears. Ironhead Hayward, who was here, went to Chicago, signed as a free agent there. He has since left the Bears and has lost a lot of weight, and pretty productive for the Atlanta Falcons this year.
Very frustrating for Muster, who has not played since the end of September. Here is Mario Bates, and the rookie fights his way out to the 38. That's close to a first down. Ken Norton makes the stop, and let's check in for the initial time tonight with Lynn Swan. What you got, Swanee?
Well, Al, don't have anybody adjust their television sets. This is a white alligator, extremely rare, only the second one found ever. The first one found in 1987, which happened to be a 12-3 year for the Saints. Jim Mora came over before the game, petted the little critter, because it's supposed to bring anyone good luck, and the Saints are looking for a little tonight. Al?
A white alligator, obviously indigenous to AstroTurf.
I'd like to say I make a good shoe with the Alligator Association of America.
I'll tell you, look at this guy staring at Swanee. He's thinking, man, when I grow up, wouldn't I like a shot at him? Lynn, I'd separate myself. I wonder if a white alligator gets to be as big as. Now is that now that's a white alligator, not an albino alligator, because it had dark eyes. So for all of you out there that were really wondering, and he'll grow full size, we're being told. How thrilling.
And if you're really wondering, that's a live shot from the Bud 1 airship floating above New Orleans. As you look down upon the Superdome and back inside on first down from the 38. Jim Everett throws, and the pass is a little high and a little behind Quinn Early, who is the Saints' leading receiver, having his best year. Quinn has caught 61 balls this season.
Quinn Everett knows that was a bad throw. His feet were all cockeyed back there. He just overthrew the football, and Early was wide open. Really, it's sidearm and sort of just flipped it out, took a little flyer on him, threw it behind. It was high. Terrible throw.
Jim Mora couldn't be more pleased, though, with his quarterback that came over from the Rams, Jim Everett. Almost a 65% completion percentage so far this year. More touchdowns than interceptions. He's had a good, solid year for the Saints.
It's Derek Brown taking it out to the 41-yard line.
One of the places, and Derek Brown just found it out right there, one of the places it's tough to go against these 49ers is up the middle, because boy, have they found themselves a couple of good ones in their number one draft choice of last year and their number one draft choice of this year. Dana Stubblefield from last year, Bryant Young from this year. The 49ers are rock solid in the middle and will be for a lot of years to come.
And they also have 13 of the team's 24 sacks. So that'll tell you who's been playing football along the defensive line.
There they are right there. And boy, a couple of bright young kids.
3rd and 7. Everett seeking his first completion. He's 0 for 3, and now he is 0 for 4 as Michael Haynes was the intended receiver. The pass floating, and Merton Hanks, who's developing into one of the premier safeties in the league, they're covering.
Yeah, he is everywhere. I remember the first time we talked to George Seifert about Hanks, he said, we got to get him in the lineup. This guy just makes plays.
Every time I see Merton Hanks, I want to get him a neck brace. He's got a really long neck, and it just looks fragile out there on a football field.
Dexter Carter to receive the kick. The last snap by Wesley Walls was low. This one is good, though. Tommy Barnhart sends it skyward. Fair catch is called for and made by Carter at the 17-yard line. 49ers have it for the second time. 4:08 to go in the quarter. 3-0 San Francisco. That's the Power Pack Tuesday night lineup in prime time on ABC. All new episodes tomorrow of Full House, Me and the Boys Home Improvement, Grace Under Fire with Brett Butler and NYPD Blue. And then the lineup on Wednesday looks like that. Sister leading it off, and Turning Point closing it out Wednesday night right here on ABC.
I think Jimmy Smits has slid right into NYPD Blue kind of gracefully.
Hasn't missed a beat.
He gets my endorsement.
San Francisco leading 3-0. 1st and 10 from the 17 as Young drops it off to the rookie, William Floyd. That's a 13-yard pickup and a first down. Floyd, a rookie out of Florida State. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by the all-new Ford Windstar. The future of minivans begins today. Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. And cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
Interesting, the 49ers are giving you what they looks like a 4 wide receiver set. One of them, however, is the tight end, Brent Jones. We talked about his ability. There he is in motion to play like a wide receiver.
Young pump fakes and goes deep and incomplete. John Taylor was bracketed on the play, and it's 2nd down and 10. Vince Buck and Tyrone Hughes with the coverage.
Again, a secondary that was really shuffled around this past offseason. I think George Seifert is trying to take advantage of it. Come out twice now on first down, using what in effect is a 4 wide receiver offense.
Really an unusual look for the 49ers. But you know, it's that time of the year where it's good for them to give everybody a lot of different looks.
Young, and remember the 49ers, since the days of Bill Walsh, scripting their first 15 to 20 plays, and a lot of success in the first quarter. And Ricky Waters exploits the hole and takes it out to the 49-yard line. Ricky Waters, a 19-yard pickup. Jimmy Spencer makes the tackle.
Waters running really well a week ago, too, against the Rams. He runs so well inside. I think that George Seifert likes to see him inside rather than going to the outside. Good block by Deese, the right guard who replaced Ralph Tam early in the season. He's been a big factor in this offensive line.
Boy, that was well done by everybody. Deese came across, but Oates, Sapolo, and Wallace at the point of attack all contributed.
First down at the 49er, 49. Waters to the outside. Nothing doing this time, though. Darian Connor, who earlier this season was picking up a lot of sacks, in fact led the league in sacks through about the first month and a half of the year, makes the tackle, the former Falcon.
Got 9 on the season, and that's a move to the outside. Jones is right in his face. That play designed, of course, obviously to come inside and reading it to the outside with Waters, and it was a spin-off by Connor and a good play.
Yeah, you can't blame Brent Jones, the tight end. He was trying to block him to the outside.
Second and 12, and it's Jerry Rice lined up offset in what would be the left halfback position with Jones in motion. And Jerry makes the catch over the middle. So the 2 times they've lined him up in the backfield tonight, they've gone to him. James Williams makes the tackle.
A lot of wide receivers in this league don't like to catch the pass in front of a linebacker for that reason. You've got somebody 230 or 240 pounds making the hit on you. Jerry Rice is such a big receiver, though. He is not fearful of that route because every now and then, Frank, this is what happens.
No one wants to do anything in front of linebackers.
No.
They have a bad attitude. Most of them.
And when they get a shot on a receiver, especially a guy like Rice, they love to take it.
Third down and 8. Niners on top 3-0 as Young throws, and it's incomplete off the fingertips of Brent Jones.
That's very uncharacteristic of the sure-handed Jones. Had a little bit of smoke on it, maybe a little too hard, but one you ordinarily would expect him to come down with. And it would have been a first down.
What a big, big series for the Saints. That they forced the 49ers into a punt. You look at that throw from Steve Young, and 8 out of 10 times Brent Jones makes that catch. But down 3-0, the New Orleans Saints can't afford to fall behind by a lot. They don't have necessarily a catch-up offense, and the 49ers are just too good to give up a big lead.
Klaus Wilmsmeyer to kick. Tyrone Hughes is back to accept it. And Hughes feels it at the 12, gets hit, but avoids getting tackled and then gets taken down, loses the football. It's loose at the 6-yard line. San Francisco has it.
Well, so much for that big defensive series they just had.
Lee Woodall stripped it. He created the fumble.
Second time tonight that Tyrone Hughes has put the ball on the ground. He got lucky the first time, not lucky the second.
Boy, what a player. Woodall has been a 6th-round draft pick out of Westchester. He was a safety, great story. Came in, he started every game, plays on special teams. Watch this. Hughes handles the ball. And watch Woodall coming in.
Drakeford hit him first,
Right there.
then here's the fumble created, and we think that Gary Plummer came up with the football. He's in the picture.
A lot of people had a shot at that ball. More of them in white jerseys than in black.
At the 7-yard line, first and goal is Ricky Waters. Takes it down to the 4-yard line. In the final minute of the first quarter, Joe Johnson makes the tackle.
Well, I praised the Saints and what a big defensive series they had just precious seconds ago. Boys, they're going to have to muster another one now, and I don't mean Brad. They need to force the 49ers to kick a field goal. There's Carl Lee, the injured cornerback who's sitting this one out.
I'm kind of looking for number 137, Jerry Rice. They like to go to him down in close, he and Brent Jones.
Floyd and Waters split in the backfield, and now Ricky in motion on second and goal. The fake to Floyd, the roll, the throw, touchdown, Brent Jones.
I would say that on that play, that Steve Young could have thrown to Brent Jones, he could have thrown to John Taylor, or he could have run done it in himself. Any one of 3 different ways would have yielded a 49er touchdown.
That, by the way, is the 7th touchdown of the season for Brent Jones. Far and away his best year, at least in point production. Maybe all around. He's so open. That's what Dan was talking about. I mean, I think Young was just trying to get along with his receivers.
Steve
could have another day.
He could have trotted in with that ball as well.
So easy.
We could have given it to Floyd, and he could have taken it in. It was a great fake.
We could have given it to Sleepy Floyd, and he could have taken it.
And a very glaring expose of a secondary that was really screwed up.
Doug Ryan, the point after 10-6 to go in the quarter, and it's 10-0. And back we come after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Scrimmage of 90 yards or more in the same game.
Taylor makes the catch. Eludes Irvin. Eludes Newman. Chased by Kelm. Down the sidelines he goes. He ran 92 for a touchdown before. He's in again.
Itself.
Directly above the Superdome is the Bud 1 airship looking straight down. And Brent Jones just picked up his 7th touchdown of the season as the Hughes fumble was very costly. This is Hughes again, who has put the ball on the turf twice tonight. He ran 2 kickbacks for touchdowns against the Rams in 1 game this season. And there's a flag down as he took it to the 49er 49, and it's coming back. It's against the Saints.
So many times when the return man breaks to the outside, you get the call as the blockers feel the pressure released by the man coming down the field, and they are forced to hold or clip or something, and that's what this is going to be, a hold, I believe.
You're exactly right, Frank, but it's a tough sell to the coach when you tell him I was forced to do it. He made me hold it.
Holding during the return, number 36 on the receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down. That is the end of the first quarter.
Derek Ned into the quarter, 49ers on top 10-0, and we'll return with Monday Night Football after this message and a word from our ABC station. The Superdome in New Orleans. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, and Lynn Swan with you. We start the second quarter. The 49ers, with the victory, will clinch the NFC West on this 28th night of November. Jim Everett was 0 for 4 in the first quarter. 49ers leading 10-0. It's 1st and 10. New Orleans at the 14-yard line. And they give it to Mario Bates, and he picks up 5. The rookie takes it out to the 19-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 5. The Bud 1 airship hovering above downtown New Orleans and looking down on the 2-decade-old Superdome.
Still a pretty classy house, isn't it?
It is.
Never walk in here where I just don't stand and stare for a while because it's an impressive structure to say the least.
And in 20 years, it's seen a lot of happenings.
2nd down and 5 from the 19-yard line. Tackle is made at the line of scrimmage by Bryant Young, the rookie from Notre Dame. It is 3rd down and 4. For the first time this season, the Saints have gone through a quarter without completing a pass, a first quarter.
Well, you see they only have 29 total yards, and and only 5 minutes and change on the clock. One of the things to be successful against San Francisco is you must get into a ball control game to keep Young and Rice and Taylor and Waters on the bench. And the Saints not only have turned it over, but they haven't held the ball for any length of time.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 4. Everett will go down at the 12-yard line. Tim Harris is a flag down. So Harris instrumental now in 2 plays in his first game back this season.
He made a rocket-like move to the inside. And the Saints, of course, that will be declined. But a good move by Tim Harris, who 3 weeks ago they worked him out and they said, hey, you can't do it. And he came back last week and he put some good moves on. Looked like he was in shape to play, and obviously he is.
And he did it again against William Roaf, the very talented left tackle, and I'm sure he can't believe this is happening to him from a guy who's only had a couple days practice.
Tommy Barnhart to kick. Dexter Carter is back to accept it. Short kick, 34 yards. And Carter is tackled back at the 48-yard line by Vince Buck. 13:20 remaining in the half. Wade Wilson going over things with Jim Everett. 10-0 49ers. The Superdome in New Orleans with 13:20 to go in the first half. 49ers leading 10-0. And San Francisco has it at the Saint 47-yard line. 1st and 10 as they begin this drive. Young, the fake, then throws, and the catch is made by Floyd, and he is tackled by Tyrone Hughes. Rookie picks up 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Well, Tom Rathman left after several fine seasons with the 49ers. He's now a Raider, so Mark Logan was the heir apparent, but he's hurt. Floyd took over about a month ago and has done a nice job out of the backfield for them.
First came out of the Florida State program, one of the highest rated blocking backs in the draft, and of course went as the #1 pick for the 49ers.
2nd and 7. Ricky Waters burst through the middle.
Good.
Takes it to the 23. There's a flag down, however, back at the 35-yard line. Winfred Tubbs made the tackle.
Well, that's fine running.
Coming back.
There's a look of exasperation. The 49ers threatening to do great harm to the Saints here in just the very beginning of the second quarter.
Holding, number 66, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 2nd down.
Maybe that's Bart Oates' way of helping out his old coach. Bart used to play for Jim Mora when he played in the USFL for the Philadelphia Stars, and that helped a lot. That helped a great deal. That run from Ricky Waters had them clear down in field goal range, and now brings it all the way back out almost to midfield. Bart Oates has been a pleasant addition for the 49ers, mostly because he was the only one of the offensive linemen that stayed healthy.
2nd and 12. He caught a glimpse of John Taylor trying to shake something off on the bench. 2nd and 12. As Young throws over the middle and hits Brent Jones, and he takes it to the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold. And the new Gillette Sensor XL with micro fins that set up your beard for the world's best shave.
John Taylor still over there talking to Lindsey McClain, the trainer of the 49ers. Brent Jones doubled over there as well.
3rd and a long 3. And Young takes off, picks up the 1st down, and slides to a halt at the 28th, and then takes a shot to the helmet by James Williams.
Boy, what a weapon, and what a year this weapon is having, coming in. The leading passer with 105 rating plus, and far and away better than anyone in the NFL, working on his 4th and unprecedented consecutive passing crown, and he can also give you plays like this.
This is, quite frankly, that should have been flagged. That should be a penalty. The quarterback is to have protection when he hook slides, and Williams could have avoided making contact with Steve Young. Now, I don't know that Steve was really hit that hard, or if there wasn't a little method acting involved there. But when the quarterback hook slides, he is not to be touched, and Williams dodged a bullet there. Now look at this. Steve Young is down way early, and James Williams makes contact. That's a no-no, but in this case, an unflagged no-no.
On defense, the Saints take a timeout with 10:44 to the half.
Super Bowl 23. Cody's got a leatherhead jacket. He doesn't remember the Super Bowl, but he loves his jacket.
Now, John Taylor is back in the game. He was shaken up before, and there he is, and he and Brent Jones are both back in the lineup.
red jacket, Dan?
No, there's a shaved head. I believe that belongs to James Williams, the aforementioned linebacker that gave Steve Young a little tap on the way by after the 49er quarterback ran for a first down. So they overcame the holding penalty and still are moving.
After a Saints timeout, 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. This is Ricky Waters picking up 7, taking it to the 22-yard line.
Well, you get a good look there at how well this offensive line is starting to get back in sync. To give you an idea, Harris Barton, the right tackle, missed 7 games with a triceps injury. Jesse Sapolu, the left guard, missed 3 games with a hamstring. Ralph Tam has missed the last 10 and is still out of the lineup. And Steve Wallace has a thigh bruise. He missed a game, and he's also had some concussion problems. So this group, if they are to remain healthy for the rest of the year, certainly is getting back together at the right time. There's Harris Barton, one of the fine tackles in the game, along with his counterpart, Steve.
2nd and 3. Young on the first roll. And he loses the football. New Orleans has it. Jimmy Spencer comes up with it.
Well, Frank, what's a running back supposed to do when he gets near the sideline? Transfer the ball to the arm closest to the sideline. Steve Young, being left-handed, left it in his left hand and got it stripped.
And he was not even he was carrying it in hand.
Yeah.
He was going to pass the football with. Carrying it with one hand is knocked away there by Lumpkin. Good break for the Saints.
And Lumpkin, give him credit, he went right for the football. That was no accident. He goes right for the football. But Steve Young, again, man, he's an aggressive player at quarterback. Takes the hits, takes the chances. This time the chance cost him.
From the 12-yard line, Jim Everett throws and still can't hook up with anybody. Michael Haynes was the intended receiver, and Everett is now 0 for his first 5 with 9:43 left in the half, and San Francisco leading 10-0.
When you see San Francisco move the ball, do you kind of get the feeling that New Orleans doesn't have a whole lot of chances? Again, there's another look at the strip. Boy, that was nice work by Lumpkin. Saw the ball to his near side, probably couldn't believe his good fortune that Steve was leaving it on that side, and took a shot at it.
2nd and 10 from the 12. Everett buys time. Everett going deep. There's a flag down, and the catch is made by Michael Haynes. But a marker is down back at the 29-yard line. Eric Davis with the coverage.
Complete. Whether it stands or not, there aren't many things in football prettier than a long post pattern like that for completion. That's as pretty as anything in the game.
You couldn't cover it better.
Contact, number 21 defense, penalty decline, first down.
Deion Sanders with the illegal contact.
Meanwhile, Eric Davis had great position on Michael Haynes. Haynes has great speed, had so many of those big receptions when he played for Atlanta. They've used him underneath here, but this is absolutely perfect position by Eric Davis. And a perfectly thrown football by Jim Everett.
Haynes almost lost that ball. In fact, it looks like it's coming out, and it's saved by hitting his thigh. Look at that. That ball would have dropped to the ground if it wouldn't have hit Haynes' leg.
52-yard reception. Mario Bates takes it down to the 24-yard line. He's tackled by Deion.
Well, you get a sense of how good a runner that Mario Bates is early in the game here. He's broken off some pretty good runs. He's strong. He also is very quick. He runs a 4.43 40 out of Arizona State. Came out a year early. Good running back. Strong cutback runner.
1st and 10 at the 23-yard line. And the 49ers a little confused defensively. Double tight end set now for New Orleans. And Bates works his way to the 20-yard line. Ken Norton in on the stop. That's a gain of 3.
All right, here's the other side of the field from the long pass. And they're calling that contact right there. Quinn Early's the Saint. Deion Sanders. Obviously, there was some contact beyond 5 yards and had nothing at all to do with the long completion to Michael Haynes.
Well, this is what you talk to the coaches about. Almost the capricious nature with which they call that. Hardly any contact away from the ball beyond 5 yards. Sometimes you draw the flag. Most of the time you do now, but then again, sometimes you don't.
On 2nd and 7 from the 20. Everett guns under the 10-yard line and is caught there by Wesley Walls, the former 49er tight end, for a first down.
Well, we talked to George Seifert, and you get the sense that he really wished that he had a Wesley Walls back, but when Walls came up with the 49ers, and he was there for, 5 years, he always seemed to have some kind of a nick. Something was always wrong, and now he comes down here, and he plays on the AstroTurf, a hard surface, and he's making catches all over the place. As a matter of fact, I think that's his 36th catch of the season.
Well, Everett, who opens up, 0 for 5, 0 for 6, has been razor sharp since.
And it's first and goal. The ball just inside the 10, and it's the fullback, Lorenzo Neal, to the 2.5-yard line. The Saints, who were moments away from going down maybe 17-0 after the Young fumble, have now moved it from their own 12. A look at Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator, and now trying to make it 10-7.
Dan, did you see the move on Roth?
Yep, absolutely.
It was one of the great moves I've seen.
The two best linemen for the Saints are on the left side. William Rowe, Jim Dombrowski. They really favor the left side. Here they go again.
They go to that side, and it is Mario Bates for the touchdown off a Wesley Walls block.
Saints come roaring back. How big in the early stages of this ball game is that fumble by Steve Young? Looked like they were on their way to go up 17-0. And now all of a sudden, if this extra point is good, we've got a 10-7 game.
Again, working over the left side. Walls with a good block. Standing up the defensive back, Dana Hall, and good work by the left side of the New Orleans Saints offensive line.
Morton Anderson for the point after each team cashing in on a fumble, used fumble, and the 49ers scored. And Morton just does kick it through inside the right upright.
Bad snap, but Barnard got it down.
88-yard drive, 6:21 to the half, 10-7 San Francisco.
Wild AFC West shootout. The division-leading San Diego Chargers host the LA Raiders next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Tom Benson, the owner of the New Orleans Saints. And you look at Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator. Jim Mora has been here for 9 years. He's kept much of the staff together. That Steve Young fumble at the 12-yard line turned around, and the Saints go 88 yards against Deion Sanders and the 49er defense. And it's 10-7 with 6:21 to go in the half. Morton Anderson sends it down to the 7-yard line. Ryder has room. He's out past the 40, and he is out of bounds at the Saint 49-yard line. A run out by Benny Clark.
Did you see what Dexter Carter did? What we were talking about a moment ago, Dan? He switched that ball from the left arm as the tackler was coming in to the right arm. And as you pointed out earlier, Steve Young done the same thing a short while ago. Probably would have been a 17-0 ball game. Now watch him right as he sees Benny Clark coming in for the tackle. He'll take that ball and shift it from his left arm to the right, getting it away from the tackler. This is what we were talking about earlier. Knowing he's not going to be able to turn the corner on Benny Clark, he moves it over to keep it safe.
45-yard run back. Young to the air on first down. Floats one into the arms of Ricky Waters. Inside the 30, and Ricky Waters is bounced out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
Boy, this club covers some real estate in a hurry, don't they? They're already down to the 20-yard line, and I don't think the Saints have even gathered themselves yet.
They're still looking at the scoreboard and saying 10-7.
They're still pretty pleased with themselves for scoring a touchdown. Wide open. Where are the defenders for the New Orleans Saints? Look at the block downfield by Jerry Rice.
So many new people in that secondary, and you just don't put a secondary together, patchwork as the Saints have done this year, and have them function like they should.
29-yard gain, first and 10 from the 20-yard line with Jones in motion. And it's Ricky Waters picking up 3. That graphic illustrating yards from scrimmage, which is a combined number, rushing yardage, receiving yardage. So when you look at Ricky's numbers each week in the paper, always go to that receiving column as well to see how instrumental he's been in their attack.
The last week he had 81 yards rushing, 79 yards passing. That's a pretty vital piece of your offense right there.
Well, second leading receiver on the team behind Jerry Rice.
And there he is over the last 4 games, 531 yards from scrimmage. It's 2nd down and 7. Young throws, and John Taylor can't make the catch. It's incomplete at the 11-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 7 with 4:55 remaining in the half. Steve Sidwell is the longtime defensive coordinator of the Saints, who trail here 10-7.
He's working with a couple of very short cornerbacks. Tyrone Hughes is in there with Carl Lee is 5'9". Over the other side is Jimmy Spencer. He's 5'9". And I'll tell you, the Jerry Rices and the John Taylors, both of them stretch out pretty good, close to 6'2". There is Spencer.
3rd and 7. Jerry Rice tonight has caught 2 balls in each instance he had lined up in the backfield. Young taken off, needs to get to the 10, has the first down. He's inside the 10 and it's 1st and goal. Tyrone Hughes makes the tackle.
Boy, this is one of the reasons that 49ers are so effective when they get inside the red zone. They throw the ball well, but if the man is not open, he's not going to throw it away. He's not going to take a sack. He's going to get you a first down. Rolls it down. Good move. And first down, 49ers.
The man just doesn't hook slide very often. He is the ultimate competitor at quarterback.
Made more consecutive starts than any player playing in the NFL.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line, and Ricky Waters for about 1.5 yards. Darian Connor makes the tackle with 4:04 to go in the first half.
Boy, there's a great look at a running back holding on to the football. Darian Connor went right for the ball. He didn't even try to make the tackle. He went for the football, and Ricky Waters was not going to let it go. Watch this tackle right here by Connor. Right here, he's going for the football, and he is just trying to yank that thing out of there. That's great work by Waters holding on, and smart play by Connor to try to get it.
2nd and goal. Rice lines up in the slot to the right. Young goes the other way, throws. The catch is made inside the 5 by Taylor, and he is thrust out of bounds at the 4-yard line by Hughes, so it'll be 3rd down and goal. Frank was talking about the 49ers when they get inside the 20, and there it is this season. Inside the 20, they've converted for touchdowns 78% of the time. The league average, 51%. And there it is, the highest ever. These stats compiled since 1985. Miami in 87, 72.9%. So the 49ers on a record pace.
That wouldn't be a bad percentage if you were talking about touchdowns and field goals. To think that it's touchdowns only, that's just extraordinary work by the 49ers offense in scoring territory.
And number 8. Timeout San Francisco, 3rd and goal when we come back. Spectacular sight, New Orleans and the Superdome, where we have 3:14 to play in the first half. 49ers 10, Saints 7. 3rd down goal. 49ers from the 4-yard line.
Nothing like having a mobile quarterback at your disposal.
Brent Jones in motion. Young straight drop back. Close one into the end zone. John Taylor! Touchdown!
Oh, they said he controlled it. It looked like he might have been bobbling it.
Benny Clark with the coverage.
He's going to get away with one, I think, here.
The official hesitated and then put the arms up.
Once those arms go up, they're not coming back down. John Taylor never got a chance to pull the ball to his body, so he's got to demonstrate that he has control with his hands alone. Now Clark tries his darndest to knock it out. You know, he's shifting the ball from hand to hand. Maybe what do you have to do to demonstrate control?
I don't know. Maybe he's going to spike it.
Doug Ryan for the point after. So after the Saints go 88 yards, the 49ers counter set up by that long run back by Dexter Carter.
Denny Clark trying to get in there, but really good position by John Taylor, giving Steve Young a target. Who knows? They give it to him.
Touchdown. I think we're going to see that John Taylor does a really good job of controlling the ball. All right, there he has it.
He's got it right there, and Vinny Clark
tries
it.
Yeah, he tries to knock it out. See, I think that's a case where you give the receiver credit for making a heck of a play. And that's what the official did. And he had the ball. He didn't drop the ball. He wasn't juggling it. I think that's a good call by the official who was right there and looked right at him.
And even if we still had replay, I think that's one of those plays that would not have been overturned. I mean, a touchdown was signaled on the field, and it would have been upheld.
I mean, what are we saying here? That the ball has to hit your hands and there's no movement whatsoever? It just sticks to it as if it's glued to your palms? No, I don't think that was the intent. Did he demonstrate control? I think we're in agreement he did.
17-7, the 49ers on top, 3:10 to go in the half. Doug Bryant to the 5-yard line. Tyrone Hughes gets spun down at the 24. Well, I'm looking forward to next Monday night as we take a look for the only time this season on Monday Night Football. We'll look at the San Diego Chargers, 9-3, on top in the AFC West. Junior Seau, Stan Humphries, Natron Means and company at Jack Murphy Stadium against the Raiders. Losers yesterday to Pittsburgh, a critical game now for LA as they try to keep their playoff hopes alive, a mark of 6-6. Raiders Chargers from San Diego. It'll be rocking next Monday night.
You just like it because it's driving distance.
You betcha, among other things. From the 24-yard line, 1st and 10. Everett throws, and the catch is made by Wesley Walls. In 2 weeks, we're going to be in Miami. It's Kansas City against Miami, and the update on Joe Montana, by the way, is that he had no fracture. He has a sprained foot, and he will be listed in all probability as questionable for the Chiefs game against Denver this Sunday in Kansas City, and then we'll have to wait and see about the Miami game 2 weeks from tonight. 2nd down and 5 from the 29-yard line. Bates takes it out to the 32.
Bryant
Young makes the stop.
There's how you keep your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage and then meet the ball carrier, and the ball carrier goes backwards. Pretty strong work inside by a pretty unusual rookie. Take a look left side of your screen. 97 is Young, and look at that hit on Bates. Bates immediately ceases his forward progress and goes down.
2-minute warning in New Orleans. Talk about a model of consistency. The 49ers, among other things, will clinch the West with a win tonight. Also, if they win tonight, that's 12 consecutive years with 10 or more victories. Incredible, isn't it?
A pretty good run since they went down to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right,
48. This will be, they win tonight, they'll clinch the division. They'll have 7 in a row, and as I said, getting their priorities in order, thinking about home field advantage.
You know, George Seifert really talked about, let's do this play first and then come back and talk about it, because he really talked about a watershed moment for his club.
3rd and 2 at the 32-yard line. Everett out of the shotgun to try to convert, keep this thing going, and throws, and it is intercepted at the 48-yard line by Tim McDonald. Tim McDonald, who has scored a couple of touchdowns in the last 3 games, and Jim Mora expressing his frustration. Everett on 3rd and 2 throws it into McDonald's hand.
Yeah, a punt wouldn't have been good. To convert and get a first down and keep the ball away from the 49ers is what they're looking for. To throw an interception, they just already down by 10. That was a pretty soft serve to Tim McDonald.
You know, McDonald you've almost forgotten about. They brought him in a year ago, a Pro Bowl safety man, and all the commotion about Deion Sanders, Hanks at free safety, and I'll tell you, McDonald's a good football player.
Oh, he sure is, Frank. You know, George Seifert, remember what he was telling us last night about it was the Philadelphia loss, but then it was the following week when they fell behind 14-0 that he really was concerned about his ball club.
Young throws on 1st down, and it's incomplete.
They played the Lions. Yeah, they played the Lions the following week, and on the heels of really just getting blown away by the Eagles, all of a sudden they find themselves in a hole, 14-0. And he said, that's when I really, for the first time, was really wondering, what do I have here? And what did they do? They battled back, they won the football game, and they have been on a roll ever since.
You know, he pointed out, too, that there was a moment down 14-0 that Steve Young took a tremendous shot. He literally crawled off the field on his hands and knees, and all of a sudden, George Seifert seemed to feel his entire team came together, and it was this man, George Young, who perhaps pulled it together with his will to win in that particular game.
Second down and 10 as Young throws, and the catch is made by Jerry Rice, his third reception of the evening. To the 39, we have a marker down.
That's where the holding call is usually made.
Well, it's
Illegal
defensive holding.
Illegal use of hands here against the defense. Boy, and the Saints already down by 10 here. Minute 39 left in the first half. They can't shoot themselves in the foot here and expect to survive this one.
Gordon McCarter is the ref.
Illegal use of hands. Number 94, defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Rookie Joe Johnson, their top pick out of Louisville.
The last 4 games played here, neither team has reached 17 points, something like that.
Carl Smith
Between these two.
going over the pictures from above with Jim Everett. If they get the ball again here in the first half.
First and 10 from the 42-yard line, and tackle made by Brett Jones, and he is out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Darian Connor makes the stop. 1:34 left in the half, and the 49ers still with 2 timeouts.
Boy, Jimmy Spencer took a gamble for 6 points and gave up a lot of yardage because Steve Young had enough on it where Spencer couldn't get his hands on it. And Jones pulls it down up the sidelines for a first down.
At the 28-yard line, first and 10. Young. And on the far side, it is Jerry Rice making the catch at the 22-yard line.
It's amazing. How many times do you think Jerry Rice has run that pattern to Steve Young? Nobody works any harder than Jerry Rice. It's an inspiration to the entire team because here he is, automatically going to be a Hall of Famer 5 years after he quits, and no question about it. Maybe the greatest receiver of all time, probably is. But he works harder than any 49er. That was beautiful timing, just almost impossible to cover.
And Tyrone Hughes wasted a lot of energy for nothing. You couldn't do a single thing to prevent that completion.
Waters takes it to the 9-yard line. Derek Deese threw the block to Springham. Sam Mills makes the tackle.
Kind of running that George Seifert was referring to. He runs so well inside, and with that slashing type cutback movement of Ricky Waters, rather than taking him to the outside, they like to run him between the tackles. He's good.
Well, if I'm Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator of the Saints, I gamble here. I throw it all at everything. I come with an 11-man blitz. I do something to shake this up.
First and goal. They give it to Ricky Waters. He fumbles! And the Saints, Tyrone Hughes! Tyrone Hughes gets by Steve Young. Gets by Singleton.
He's going to score.
Can you believe this? Touchdown. Sam Mills stripped it. Tyrone Hughes runs all the way for the score.
Steve Young had the shot at midfield that could have saved the touchdown. But Tyrone Hughes, we talked about him earlier. He just makes things happen. We talked about the returns. Talked about the interception return a week ago.
We're about 6 blocks from Bourbon Street, and it's rumbling over there, too, I can guarantee you. This building is shaking and can be heard all over this town. What a play by Hughes. All right, right off the bat, Sam Mills is the guy that knocks the ball out. So credit Sam Mills with getting this started.
There's Steve Young coming into the picture, and a good move by Hughes to throw Steve Young off.
It's the second week in a row he's run a fumble back for a touchdown. He did it last week against the Raiders.
42 yards was his return last week.
And he's returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns. Anderson for the point after. Boy, he really makes things happen. Negative and positive.
Well, the guy who made it happen was their Pro Bowl middle linebacker, Sam Mills.
Big play. Crazy game. Every time it looks as if the 49ers are going to wrap it up, something happens, and something very big just happened. 34 seconds left in the half. It's 17-14 49ers. Hughes' 4th touchdown of the season.
And what a nifty piece of open field running. He was actually chased down by Steve Young. Steve Young was running faster than Hughes. Boy, that's just beautiful work by Hughes. But 2 49er fumbles have led to the Saints 14 points. That one directly because it was a return. Steve Young had a fumble. It started a New Orleans drive that resulted in a touchdown.
Look, when you're down 17-7, that's very heady on the part of Tyrone Hughes because he probably should have fallen on that football, but he knew he was going to have to make something happen, and he did. I mean, he took a risk picking it up like he did.
You realize without those 2 fumbles, this could be a 31-0 ball game right now?
The short kick by Anderson is taken up at the 22-yard line and returned to the 31 by Adam Walker.
Don't even think that way, Dan. This is switch.
Oh, it's not 31-0. Steve Young, what a burst of speed. He actually ran Hughes down. And you can't blame him for not making the open field tackle.
Almost impossible.
Yeah, Singleton had a shot at him, but credit that to Tyrone Hughes, who picked up the fumble caused by Sam Mills. And Ricky Watters will have to work at halftime to get his chin back up. That's a tough deal when something like that happens. Ricky, a very excitable, a very emotional player, is going to have to work hard to get it back together.
Half a minute to go in the half. Young throws. Jerry Rice running parallel to left. He turns it upfield and is out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Nate Singleton threw a block and a flag goes down.
Jimmy Spencer was hit by Nate Singleton.
Well, he got his
clean
first
blindside block, but he is really shaken up.
He got his first block by John Taylor, and then the second one that laid Spencer out was by Singleton.
You know, he talks so much
There's
about
Taylor.
what these wide receivers can do with the ball, how they catch the ball. They all block
Personal
for each
foul,
other.
unnecessary roughness. Number 26 on the defense. Late hit out of bounds. 15 yards. First down.
Bench Buck on a late hit on Rice out of bounds, and they continue to look at Jimmy Spencer, who took this shot from Singleton.
Jimmy Spencer never saw that coming. But something these 49ers do so well for one another, and that is block downfield. Rice actually cut behind 2 blocks. The first one was by John Taylor, and then that second one closer to the sidelines by Singleton.
Take another look at it. Spencer coming in just about ready to make the tackle. Had no idea that Singleton was there.
No. An illegal block by Singleton. He got his head in front.
20-yard gain on the play, 15-yard penalty. And when play resumes, the ball will be at the 33-yard line with 22 seconds and 2 timeouts at the 49ers' disposal.
Here's another look at it. Singleton's at the bottom of the screen, but that is a perfectly legal block. And Singleton right now has walked over to where Jimmy Spencer is lying on the ground to offer some good words, and Spencer's up and going to New Orleans sideline.
It was not the kind of hit you're going to have a lot of damage. Probably the wind knocked out of him. But that was because Singleton, instead of putting the helmet in there, he came across the body, got the shoulder into the chest, and no harm done other than I think Spencer was shocked as much as anything.
When you're a wide receiver and you spend most of your days getting hit like that by defensive backs, you really kind of relish the opportunity to administer a lick yourself.
Tyrone Leggett takes Spencer's place. 3 receivers set to the left. Ball at the 33. Young looking in that direction, and down he goes at the 42. Ronaldo Turnbull led the charge. Joe Johnson helped out. And timeout call by the 49ers, and that has taken them out of field goal range for the moment. Timeout San Francisco.
Francisco. Turnbull's at the bottom. That's Young's blind side. He's the first guy there. New Orleans sack.
It's Bart Oates who was shaken up on the last play, so he comes out, and Chris Dolman comes in for the first time tonight.
Oates is the one offensive lineman for the 49ers, as we mentioned earlier, who has not had an injury problem this season. You not only lose the physical presence of Oates there, but he is the kind of quarterbacking that offensive line, and a good one he is.
Chris Dolman enters the game, and he will play center. You'd think that Jesse Cipolla would slide over and play his old spot, but he remains at left guard.
2nd and 19. The 49ers have one timeout left. The catch is made by Ricky Waters. He gets it to the 35, and the 49ers take their final timeout here, so they want to attempt a field goal. It would be about a 52-yarder with 11 seconds remaining.
O'Brien hasn't been ripping things up at the field goal department. He's missed everything he's tried from 50-plus.
Well, we talked about the San Diego Chargers, and we're going to see them next week on Monday Night Football. The Chargers with a mark of 9-3, and of course, one of their big stars is that great linebacker Junior Seau, who will visit with Brent Musburger at halftime. The Chargers next week will be taking on the Los Angeles Raiders at Jack Murphy Stadium. We get a chance last night to spend some time with the incomparable Jerry Rice. There he is in his 10th season now in the National Football League, and he reflects back upon a remarkable career. His numbers on the night: 4 catches for 38 yards thus far.
A remarkable career that's nowhere close to being over. There's Ralph Tam, the other member of the 49ers who's out. He's been out for 10 games, and it's unusual to see Bart Oates not playing. He has been their rock all season long, and he heads to the locker room. I imagine they're going to take a look at Bart, and it's obvious he's uncomfortable.
And that'll be a 52-yard attempt, and whoever comes down with the football, if it's not in the end zone, is going to have to think about getting out of bounds.
3rd and 11, and Young throws that way. The catch is made, and going out of bounds is Rice at the 31. So now, with 8 ticks left, you're looking at about a 48-yard attempt for the rookie Doug Bryan, and here he comes.
Such a smart play. Run the quick play. Just pick up enough yardage to get yourself into what you consider to be a little more comfortable field goal range.
This will be his best for the rookie from Cal.
He kicked a 47-yarder, and Oates has come back to snap it. Can you believe this? A 48-yard attempt. Wilmsmeyer to hold it. I believe it.
New Orleans takes a timeout. The Saints called a timeout. Bart Oates. Now, wait a minute. This is a guy who's so hurt he's going into the locker room early. Now, let's be serious. That has to hurt. That has to hurt a lot to run all the way back out onto the field to get out there in time to get to the line of scrimmage.
You got to know Bart Oates to know he's that kind of a football player.
Oh, talk about admirable.
Beagle, who for so many years anchored the offensive line of the Giants. The ultimate team player.
His older brother, Brad, was a teammate of mine in St. Louis, a pretty good player himself. When's the last time we saw a guy do that?
275, that's kind of representative of this offensive line. It's not a big offensive line. They have no 300-pounder. That's kind of unusual these days in pro football.
Doug Bryan made a 40-yarder in the first quarter. His longest thus far, 47 yards against the Rams in September. This is a 48-yard attempt. Oates snapping, Wilmsmeyer holding. 49ers try to increase their advantage to 6. And Ryan sends it through. With 3 seconds now left in the first half. So the Niners were able to get it down into field goal range and go up 20-14.
That's one heck of a job by Bart Oates.
And it's not as if they don't have another snapper, because Ted Popson does the snapping on punts.
Look at this guy wince just every time he takes a step. Now, as the center, you've got your head down. You are a target, and more often than not, that's what happens to you. You go, you know what, over apple cart. And It's hard to defend yourself. You're looking through your legs backwards. Imagine you got a couple 300-pounders
And it's
on each shoulder.
Wild to see it, but when you're down there, the noise, the grunting, the references to your ancestry, all that's taking place, and it really is something.
Oh, Frank, now you don't really think that happens.
That and more.
That and more is right.
Yeah, well, that kick by Brian would have been good from about 55.
Oh, 55 and a half, I thought.
Definitely.
Well, what else?
He had a little breeze, didn't he?
What else? What else could happen here? There's 3 seconds left. We could have another fumble, another return. Who knows what?
Crazy half. The Bud 1 airship providing the live shots tonight. Floating above downtown New Orleans.
He'll try to keep the ball away from Hughes. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Brian will send a ground ball down to about the 36-yard line. And it is covered up there by Irv Smith as the first half comes to a conclusion. Bardos can now truly go back to the locker room. Wild first half. Big plays on both sides of the ball. 49ers lead it by a score of 20-14. And back we come with our halftime activities after this word from our ABC station. Brent Musburger.
Good first half. We've got a lot of breaking news now in college football. Rick Neuheisel is going to take over as the head coach out at the University of Colorado. Bill McCartney will coach the Buffaloes in the Fiesta Bowl. Ray Goff, his contract will be honored next year at Georgia. Now I want to bring in my colleague Peter King of Sports Illustrated because, Peter, Bill Walsh has stepped out at Stanford today. Is he going to join another team in the NFL?
Brent, Bill Walsh will not coach in the NFL, and Bill Walsh will take a job of no kind with the San Francisco 49ers. What he will do is he'll become kind of a quarterback guru. He's going to be a consultant to some NFL teams and to some other teams about quarterbacking. I look for his first job to be with the World League next spring to try to develop new quarterbacks, which the NFL desperately needs.
Miami probably doesn't need him right now. You were out there yesterday at the Meadowlands. Here's the sucker play of the year. They think he's going to spike it, and he beats the Jets right here. Peter, what happened?
Great thing about this is, does Don Shula call this play? No. Gary Stevens, the offensive coordinator? No. Bernie Kosar called this play. He called the play in the helmet microphone to Dan Marino. The only other guy in the stadium besides those two guys who know it is Mark Ingram. And how does Ingram know? I asked him after the game, and he said, Dan gave me the stare. When he gives you the stare, you know the ball's coming.
The stare next Monday night. Junior Seau looking across the line at Jeff Hostetler, if Jeff is healthy, of course. But you know, right now, the Chargers are 9-3. And I said to Junior a short time ago, I said, you know, Junior, you're not getting much respect despite that record.
That's a fact. And, you know, we cannot ask for any respect. We have to go out there and earn it. And the only way of doing that is on the football field. You and I can talk about us being in the Super Bowl this year, last year, or the other years previous. But right now, we're leading towards a winning season now, and we have a good chance.
Now, let me cut to the violence issue in the National Football League. Do you think the game has suddenly become too violent, Junior?
I think it's always been a violent sport. It's been a dangerous sport, but at the same time, it's not an intent to go out and kill somebody. I mean, I feel that the public has kind of boosted it in a way because people are getting injured and things like that. Well, that's the severity of a football player playing in the National Football League. That's the chances. If there's a big risk involved of us going out there and doing the things that we do.
Junior, I've known you for years. Are you still driven to be the best? Do you still go out there on Sunday saying, I want to show how good a linebacker I really am?
Every day at practice, every day to the last play of the game. I mean, there's always going to be that drive because there's no room for complacency here in the National Football League. It's a revolving door. I just don't want to be in it too early.
Junior Seau is driven at San Diego, and another man driven with the 49ers, Jerry Rice. Back with him in a moment. When his career is over, Jerry Rice may hold all of the important pass-catching records. He already has the touchdown record. Let's go back to the opening Monday night. And here's Al Michaels.
It's been almost 3 months since you broke Jim Brown's all-time touchdown record against the Raiders on the opening Monday night game this season.
Upon reflection, what do you think when you think back to that moment?
I think about all the emotion, the hard work, the dedication, just the time that I put in to prepare myself. Also my teammates that really helped to put me in that position. And it's amazing because you work so hard, and just to see everything happen on that Monday night, the entire world, they were looking at that game.
Is there a record that you don't own that you'd love to have?
When it's all over, I think I would like to hold every record possible. And it's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. And, if I have to stay out there after practice, put in that extra time, I'll do it.
Jerry, you're 32 years old, 10 years in the league. What drives and motivates you at this point?
I think I'm really afraid of failure. I have worked so hard to get myself into this position. And the scary thing about it is that I know one day it's going to be time to walk away from it. But I would like to walk away on top.
You hold so many records. There have been dozens of spectacular moments in your career. But what would you pick as the defining moment of your career?
I think back in Super Bowl 23, when we had, 2 minutes on the clock. And I think everybody in the stands knew that we would win the football game. And just to watch John Taylor make that catch. So that was my first Super Bowl. I didn't make the winning catch, but it felt like I did.
Brad, I think it's an amazing thing, and I don't think he's being at all disingenuous, but here's a guy who could have named 24 moments, each dealing with him specifically, and the highlight of his career features Joe Montana and John Taylor. Also, I asked him last night, I said, how much speed have you lost since you were a rookie? He said, I'm faster now than ever. What a joy he's been to watch.
Yeah, Al, I was struck by that, too. That was quite a moment and quite an admission on his part. Al, I think everybody's going to be up late. The last 7 games in New Orleans between these two teams have been decided by 7 points or less. The second half is coming up.
New Orleans, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, Lynn Swan with you. The 49ers, as Dan mentioned, not that far away from leading 31-0, and instead it's 17-14. Thanks to some, or 20-14, thanks to some very bizarre plays in the first half.
2 fumbles, 14 points for the New Orleans Saints. And as a team, you've got to take the real consolation from that at halftime and say, we're in this thing when we don't deserve to be. Let's do something about it.
This is Adam Walker returning the Morton Anderson kick, and he is taken down by Ernest Dixon. 2 key plays in the first half. Sam Mills creating the fumble by Steve Young, and then the Tyrone Hughes 86-yard return. This is the longest fumble return in the history of the New Orleans Saints.
The score was 17-7 at the time, and San Francisco on their way in to really ice this thing at the end of the first half. And this is some nifty open field running. Here comes Steve Young. Hughes makes that cut, makes another one later.
First down, Young throws. John Taylor makes the catch, and Tyrone Hughes wrestles him down at the 40, but he picks up 11 and a first down.
Let's go back and take a look at the end of this. Steve Young's going to come in from the right of your screen. Hughes sees him, stops. Young goes by. And now from the left side, he knows he's got to make another cut coming back this way. Nate Singleton streaks past him. Vince Buck turns around and gives a block upfield, and there's really no way to overestimate the importance of that run and those points for the New Orleans Saints. Meanwhile, they've got a guy coming off the field. I think Joe Johnson, their number 1 draft choice, shaken up on that last play. He just finally makes his way to the Saints sidelines.
On the subject of injuries, Bart Oates is out of the game for the 49ers. Sprained left knee, not expected to return. Chris Dahlman is the center. Pig Goff replaces Joe Johnson. There's a look at Dahlman snapping it to Young, who gives the ball to Ricky Waters. He picks up a couple to the 42, and Pig Goff sees initial action, number 91, making the tackle.
Remember, that is Chris Dahlman, D-A-L-M-A-N, not
not to be confused with Chris Dolman, the former Viking defensive end who now plays for the Atlanta Falcons. Dahlman, not Dolman. And that's my contribution.
Tax-free. Second down and 8 at the 42-yard line. Brent Jones tries to fight his way for a first down. Is stopped about 3/4 of a yard short by Sean Lumpkin.
How many times have we seen that? The crossing pattern between Jones and Rice.
There's Bart Oates.
For defenders, and Bart looks like he might be hanging around if they need him to snap the ball.
Well, it's pretty obvious that if they need him, he'll be there. He demonstrated that by sprinting back out onto the field for a field goal at the end of the first half.
Third and a short 1, just shy of the 50-yard line. Out of the two-back set, they give it to Ricky Waters, and he gets across the 50, and that's enough for a 49er first down. Winfred Tubbs makes the tackle. The 49ers at the New Orleans 49.
He needed 3/4 of a yard. I believe he gained 1 1/4 yards.
I think 1 3/8.
Could be. Your eye far keener than mine.
It's gas permeable lenses. 12:30 to go, third quarter.
There's plenty of gas in this booth.
Yes. Every Monday. 20-14, the 49ers up by 6. And Steve Young almost gets sacked and then does go down behind the line of scrimmage. Frank Warren, who is slow in getting back up, the 13th year nose tackle from Auburn, made the play.
That will go down as a sack. Somebody will get credit for that.
Frank Warren forced to go to the inside this year with the turnover, the tremendous turnover of personnel. He has played all of his career at the defensive end. This really is first year, and he's done a fine job from inside, but it is different than what he has been used to over the years.
And that is Warren, and Warren's alone. He'll get credit for a full sack. That'll be his third of the year.
Johnson is back in the game. Warren comes out, and Ricky Waters on 2nd and 12 takes it to the 46-yard line. And let's get an update from Lynn Swan. What you got, Lynn?
Well, Al, I talked to Jim Mora when he came out of the locker room at halftime, and he was really upbeat. He says, physically we can play with the San Francisco 49ers. We just have to come out and execute in all 3 phases of this ball game. We have to attack them on offense, we have to control the ball, go after them on defense, and we can stay in this ball game and win. That's it, Al.
They're in the game down by 6, but it's 3rd and 7. Every 49er possession tonight, all 8 have crossed midfield. And it's another first down as the catch is made by Dexter Carter, and he's out of bounds at the 27-yard line. People say it over and over and over, but it's true every week. So many weapons.
Again, crossing patterns. Dexter Carter coming from the setback position, working his way through the line of scrimmage, crossing all the way over. You need protection to run this kind of a pattern, but it's high percentage stuff. And it's first down 49ers.
And the delivery by Steve Young allows Dexter to not even break stride. He catches it in full stride, can turn upfield. That ball just a couple feet behind, forces the running back to stop, get a hit. A lot of times it's cost him a lot of yardage.
Here's Ricky Waters for a gain of 4 to the 23-yard line. He's tackled there by Wayne Martin. 10:35 to go, third quarter. 49ers leading by 6. And Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator of the 49ers, coached the LA Raiders for a year and a half, turned down an opportunity to coach the Denver Broncos a couple of years ago to remain in San Francisco.
One of 2 49ers assistants that probably could be looking at head coaching assignments. The other, of course, defensive coordinator Ray Rhodes. Looking very talented.
2nd and 6. And Floyd, he's out of bounds at the 12, dropped the ball, but he had crossed the boundary. Vince Buck makes the tackle. Another San Francisco first down.
Ronaldo Turnbull almost jumped off sides on that play, did a good job of getting back on sides, but then Steve Wallace, the left tackle, effectively turned it back to the inside, and that's why Floyd was able to get around that corner.
Vince inside the red zone, and we've shown you the numbers already, how effective the 49ers are once they get inside the 20. And not just putting points up for field goals, but taking it in for a touchdown. And number 8, the big reason. He is the other weapon.
From the 13-yard line, Floyd fights his way down to the 11-yard line. Wayne Martin and his pals in on the stop.
Well, William Floyd is really getting a lot more playing time in a sophisticated offense for the 49ers than you would expect from a rookie running back. It is so hard for rookies to become part of the passing game, the blitz pickups. A lot of times they have the instinctive running ability, but they're a liability in a lot of other aspects of the game. And William Floyd, I think, is proving himself to be an exceptional ball player, to be getting this many snaps for the 49ers in all types of situations.
Here's the 11th play of the drive. 2nd and 9. Young on a roll. Young has room to roll. Ooh, and takes it down to the 2-yard line. Tackled by Tyrone Hughes.
Steve Young.
George Ebert's heart has to wind up in his throat every time you've got to play like that.
I think that the 49ers are such a good football team, and they're at the stage of the season where Steve Young has got to stop taking on tacklers at the 2 or 3 yard line. Everything about it from a competitive standpoint is admirable, but you want to be there.
I tried to take him on, Dan. I think he tried to put a juke on, and it was just a fine tackle by Hughes. A little move to the inside.
But he lowers the but Frank, that's the type of a hit that a quarterback a lot of times doesn't survive.
1st and goal, and Ricky Waters takes it to the 1-yard line. Winfred Tubbs popped him.
Well, if I coach him, I'd agree too, Dan. But I don't. What do you tell Steve Young?
I don't know.
He's been doing this all of his life. He did it at Greenwich High School. He did it in Tampa Bay, the USFL, and we just talked about earlier. He has got the longest string of consecutive games started of any quarterback in the league. So you're looking at a fine athlete too. So
no argument whatsoever. But this is what is hopefully for the 49ers. With that win over Dallas, they are thinking NFC Championship game, a candlestick, and Super Bowl. And man, they can't get that guy banged up.
2nd and goal, and Ricky Waters cannot get in. 3rd and goal. Sean Lumpkin, the first to hit him. Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator, watching his unit dig in. Critical play here, 3rd and goal coming up.
Well played by cornerback Jimmy Spencer. He came across the line of scrimmage. He forced Ricky Waters to bring it back to the inside. Nothing doing there. Good pursuit. That's what you need, to slide down the line of scrimmage down there on the goal line.
They needed a better block from Jerry Rice that time in the end zone. His guy came up and made it 6.
3rd and goal, and Floyd loses the football. It's picked up by Jerry Rice, who circles back and gets tackled at the 10 by Wayne Martin.
We have seen everything now.
There's a flag down. Rice said he wanted a face mask, and he may get it.
If he does, he's going to get a first out of it.
If this is the flagrant face mask penalty, we're going to have a first down. Boy, that negates a big effort.
Face mask by the tackler. Ordinarily a 5-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. By rule, we must get back to the previous line of scrimmage. The ball will be placed there. Repeat, 3rd down.
All right, so it is not the 15-yard variety. There is a face mask that is a personal foul that would have automatically given the first down.
Had it been flagrant, I assumed it would be. I mean, this was how the tackle was made. 93 Wayne Martin. Well, he did release it.
Yeah, he did let it go. And I'm not even sure he really hooked it all that much.
49ers get a big break.
Back to 3rd and goal. Nose of the ball just inside the 1. Rice in motion. Movement in the line. Flags are down. Play is dead.
Well, I know one of the guys that moved was Wesley Walls, the tight end. Not Wesley Walls, Ted Popson, rather. Seeing Wesley Walls is playing for the New Orleans Saints.
Robert Goff
used to play there.
That used to be his spot and his number, 85.
And enjoy yardage.
Full start before the snap. 85 offense. 5 yards
Popson gets the call. And he definitely flinched, and this is where the crowd noise at the Superdome really hurts the visiting team.
Yeah, we've talked so much about those numbers inside the 20 of scoring touchdowns. 49ers are struggling tonight. We'll look at the face mask again. Did he get a hold of it? Well, he had a hand up around the face, and Jerry Rice turned to the inside. Certainly looked that way to the official, I think.
It looked that way to the official, but I don't think that Wayne Martin ever snapped it and grabbed it.
3rd and goal, 6:08 to go in the third quarter. The Niners leading by 6. Young flushed out, throws on the run. Rick Jones, touchdown, his second of the night.
And 8th of the year, and Young's limping now. Steve Young is hobbled as he tries to get back over to the 49ers sideline. What a dangerous weapon, a quarterback who can move. And the 49ers are going to go for 2. Yep, they're going to go for 2.
Well, they lead by 12. They'll try to make it 14.
Let's see if we can find out if Steve lands here.
Nobody touched him, Dan. I think it's from the play before.
Certainly doesn't seem to be limping at all there at the conclusion of that play.
49ers are 1 for 2 this season on 2-point attempts. There's 5:58 to go in the third quarter. What a weapon Steve Young is on the 2-point conversion. Young over the middle to the back of the end zone. It's caught there by Rice. That's 2 more points in his lifetime total. Steve Young just fought all that time until Rice could uncover back of the end zone, and he is now limping convincingly. The Niners have the ball for 9 minutes, 2 seconds, go 71 yards, pick up 8 more, and now lead by 14.
They removed the left shoe from Steve Young. He's walking around there barefoot, and the training staff is attempting to find out what it is. It appears to be either the ankle or the foot. They're going to elevate it. It looks like Lindsey McLean, the trainer, is going to retape the left ankle of Steve Young. It seems to bother him when he's not in the middle of a play. We saw 2 plays where he was limping in between, but yet moving at full speed without any sign of a limp.
Ryan sends it down to Hughes, who's already returned a fumble for a touchdown tonight. Tyrone is tackled back at the 18-yard line by Derek Loville. So they work on Young with 5:49 left in the third. Elvis Gerback loosens up. Niners 28-14.
Today's NFL Monday Night Football, brought to you by the NASDAQ stock market, the stock market for the next 100 years. The NASDAQ Composite Index closed today at 745.73, up 3.21 points.
5:49 remaining in the third quarter of the Superdome in New Orleans. The San Francisco 49ers in quest of their 7th consecutive win and trying to wrap up the NFC West, leading 28-14. Saints have it. It's the first time in the second half they've had the football at their own 18-yard line. 1st and 10. Jim Everett to Mario Bates. And Bates for a gain of 10. Very close to a first down. He's tackled by Eric Davis. Good running by Bates. And right now for New Orleans to get back into this, they need to do something on their own. They have taken advantage of turnovers on the part of the 49ers, mistakes by the 49ers, but they have not been able to run the ball. Look at the time of possession. It's overwhelmingly in favor of the 49ers. Had they not made those mistakes, they walk away with this game easily and clinch their division championship. But the New Orleans Saints still remain in it, but they have to do something on their own. And they now are retaping or changing the tape job on the foot of Steve Young, and they don't appear to be too terribly concerned about it.
That's 49er trainer Lindsey McLean working on him. One of the fine trainers in the National Football League, and boy, the players of today, boy, do they get some grade A medical attention.
Hey, they're like your nanny too.
Yeah, they really are.
You can't survive without them.
In many ways, as a football player, the trainer on your team is your best friend.
2nd and inches up at the 28-yard line. Double tight end set to give it to fullback Lorenzo Neal. He takes the first down. And let's
Let's get a report from Lynn Swan.
Al, Steve Young just rolled his ankle, and if anybody's ever walked down the street and accidentally stepped awkwardly on the curb where your ankle just turns in very quickly and you pop up, well, that's pretty much what he's done. So they're just retaping him, but he'll go back into the ball game. Al?
And
that ankle's worth a lot more than our ankle.
Yeah, the difference in this game, though, is when you turn your ankle on a curb, there's a guy weighing 300 pounds ready to smack you in the face.
First and 10 at the 31-yard line. Look out as Everett is able to get it off. The catch is made by Torrance Small, who scored twice last week against the Raiders. Ricky Jackson forcing the issue, to say the least.
And Ricky Jackson's been forcing the issue all week here. This is his inaugural return to the Superdome, a stadium that he calls my house, and the man of much of his antagonistic things to say this week has been that guy, Jim Mora. Here comes Jackson. He gets the hit, but wisely doesn't continue, realizing Everett got rid of the ball. But these two, Jim Mora's been on the receiving end. Ricky Jackson's been quite vocal in criticizing Mora and the entire Saints program.
Second and 6. Bates gets by Woodall, turns a loss into a gain as he is out of bounds up near the 35-yard line. Eric Davis got him out.
Kind of sadly got out of control, I think. They asked
Flag down.
more about Ricky Jackson. He said what he thought and what most people would think.
Which was
when you play that many years, you're in your 14th season, you're not as good as you were 10 years ago, maybe even 2 or 3 years ago, and that's all he said. Jim Mora would never denigate a player, I'm sure.
Number 21 defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards, drill second down.
you hear the crowd because that guy right there, Deion Sanders, who's been not really called upon to do a whole lot tonight. Any mention of his name or number will get a rise from the crowd.
He's having a hard time. If you've got a lot of bonus in that contract, he's not going to get a lot of action. He never does. They go away from him. They leave him in single coverage so many times, do the 49ers, and yet they still do not test him.
Second and 1. Bates picks up 5 on the first down. Funny thing about Deion Sanders, he could have been wearing the black uniform tonight and making a lot more money.
Yeah, the Saints made Deion something along the lines of a $17 million offer to come here to New Orleans, but he wants a Super Bowl ring. He says that is the only reason that I went to San Francisco. He's even talked a little bit about if I get a Super Bowl ring this year, then maybe I'll retire from the game of football and maybe just devote myself entirely to baseball.
Yeah, Clipper Anderson bought him pretty good last week. Got a 50-yarder off him in single coverage.
But then Deion came back to save the day, knocked away a pass at the end. Great play fake as Everett puts it on his hip, but the Niners secondary does the job, and he's forced to throw it underneath and settle for a small gain as Bates makes the catch.
You know, a cornerback is pretty good when he gets beat for a touchdown. It becomes a topic of conversation a week later.
I was talking earlier about his finger. He has a dislocated finger from the Dallas game a couple of weeks ago on the left hand, the middle finger, and to try to handle a football with a dislocated finger, I mean, you can just imagine that is one of the most painful injuries you can have. And I asked him about it. He said, well, I'm going in now to shoot it up. And, you know, you got other players admire that too. I mean, he's a team guy. I mean, he's a showman, but he's also a team guy, and he fits in well here with the 49ers. Second and 5, and here's Bates. Bates picks up about 2.
Funny thing about Bates, Mario missed 5 games earlier this year. He was slugged by Lorenzo Neal, and Bates' jaw was fractured, and the interesting thing is that it's conceivable that Bates, at the end of the season, will file suit against Lorenzo Neal. He remained on the roster. He was paid by the Saints, but those 5 games will, in all likelihood, cost him a lot of incentive money, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that the 2 guys playing in tandem in the backfield could be litigants.
Until they get in court, Lorenzo Neal's going to continue to block for him, right?
Third down and 2. At the 47-yard line.
Al, you've been watching the People's Court.
All right, Judge Wagner. First down to the 35-yard line as Torrance Small makes the catch.
Torrance Small, who had a big game last week against the Raiders, a couple of touchdown passes. They really figured that he was the man that was going to fill the shoes of Eric Martin, their all-time leading receiver, and 29 receptions on the season. His first mark that he's made this evening, however.
And rather quietly, the Saints have a pretty good drive underway. And boy, could they use a touchdown here.
Niners lead by 14. And Everett throws, and it's dropped at the 25-yard line as Eric Davis provided the coverage on Michael Haynes, and Brian Young decks Jim Everett.
Right. And we talk so much about Deion Sanders. We talk about Hanks, the type of big play man he is. But quietly, Eric Davis is probably having the best year he's had. That was just excellent coverage there. And, of course, he's going to get most of the action because Deion Sanders, usually they'll try to stay away from him. And consequently, Eric Davis is seeing probably more action this year than he has in any previous year.
And boy, did Everett do a good job of standing in the pocket, taking a big shot. This guy's really been maligned, and I think unfairly.
2nd and 10, they take the end around to Quinn early, and then the coverage is there. Flag is down, however. Torrance Small, the intended receiver. And that's a hold against the Saints.
Hanks with good coverage on Small, and Everett had no choice but just to throw it away.
Young with that foot taped and the ankle wrap, loosening up.
You can see they've even taped it outside his shoe.
Number 70 offense. 10 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
No matter what Steve does, he just can't get away from Montana. Joe gets a sprained foot, Steve gets a sprained ankle. It's amazing.
Hey, he's pulling away from him in a couple of categories.
Yeah.
You know,
consecutive passing championship coming up this year. He is now the all-time leading passer in the history of the game, having surpassed Joe Montana.
You know, Al, I think you can't get away with it because you brought it up.
Well, I'm not the only one, hardly. 2nd and long as Everett throws, and the catch is made at the 43-yard line by Michael Haynes for a short gain, a gain of about 3. Ken Norton made the tackle. The penalty, by the way, was on Chris Port, the holding call.
I think rather than the sympathetic ankle injury here, what moved Steve Young finally out from under the shadow was their win over the Dallas Cowboys. That's what made, I think, in many ways, with some fans who just wouldn't let go of Joe Montana in the Bay Area, the win over the Dallas Cowboys finally allowed Steve Young to step into the sun and step into the sun alone.
That is the end of the 3rd quarter. The Niners up by 14, and Monday Night Football returns after this word from our ABC stations. Superdome, New Orleans. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, Lynn Swan. Monday Night Football, Week 13. The 49ers on top 28-14, seeking their 7th straight win. They lead by 2 touchdowns, 3rd down and 18 for the Saints at the 45-yard line. Everett has to move him to the 27 to convert, and he's going for it all. It throws so deep that only Sanders is there, and Deion's going to run it out from deep in the end zone. Deion out past the 20. Deion knows it's prime time and takes it back to the 35-yard line.
Oh, and what's Jim Everett doing? Jim Everett comes down and hits Deion Sanders well after the play's over. It wasn't what you'd categorize as a violent shot, but I think there's some real frustration boiling over for Jim Everett.
Took that as a personal affront. Sanders running out of the end zone with that ball.
Deep in the end zone.
I'd let Deion Sanders, as a coach, let him run with the football from any place on the field at any time.
What are you going to do? Tell him not to?
Now look, the play's over here. Deion Sanders is going to get up. And there's Jim Everett. Puts the shoulder to him.
I think he might have thought he was alive.
Kind of lost in Deion Sanders' return there was that Jim Everett overthrew his receiver by maybe 8 or 10 yards on a 3rd and 18-yard play. Maybe he was trying to throw the ball away. I don't know, but that was really a poor pass on Everett's part.
Offensive coordinator Carl Smith. Been with Jim Mora for many years.
Jim Mora knows that this is this is going to be a long year. He knows it's a price the Saints have to pay if they're to be better in the future. And yes, that's the word out of New Orleans, that he is handling it well. And Steve Young hangs in there.
Steve Young and the 49ers from their own 34. Only their second possession of the half. They have that long touchdown drive. And this is the rookie Floyd, who has bounced out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
I think the 49ers have really found themselves the replacement for Tom Rathman and William Floyd. He seems to be the complete package. He's certainly not the equal of what Tom Rathman was when he was in his prime as a veteran ball player, but I certainly don't see anything that would give George Seifert reason to think that William Floyd isn't going to become that good a football player.
He comes out of a really good program, Florida State. He was a pretty good receiver and an excellent blocker there.
Second and 2 from the 42. And up to the 44-yard line goes Ricky Waters. And that is a first down. Dion, his fourth pick of the season. 2 of the interceptions returned for touchdowns, including one against the Saints in San Francisco earlier this season. The game the 49ers won 24-13.
They've been biggies, too. That was 74 yards. What was the other, 92?
Against Atlanta.
He doesn't do anything small time.
Right in front of the Falcons bench.
Yeah.
Classic.
And hurt himself strutting into the end zone. Pulled a groin.
First and 10 at the 45. Ricky Waters up to the 50. Well, I wonder if George Seifert's the people's choice again. Remember they had one of those goofball fan polls right after they lost to Philadelphia. Something like 75% of the respondents to a radio show in San Francisco said they'd rather have Jimmy Johnson coach the team than George Seifert.
I think it was actually done on their flagship radio station.
Unbelievable.
Take a look at this. Most wins in a 200-game span. The Cowboys from 67 to 81 lead it at 149, but there are the 49ers creeping in, and of course that is still alive.
Second and 5 at the 50-yard line. Waters for 2 to the Saints 48-yard line.
And if they win tonight, we touched on it earlier, what is this, a dozen years with 10 or more wins?
NFL record.
This guy really isn't the kind of guy that media loves nowadays. He's not a rehab patient. He'd have a hard time making a cover of any magazine. I mean, he hasn't done, he doesn't beat the wife. He doesn't do all the things. It really gets to the focus. He just happens to be one of the best coaches ever to come down the pike.
You got that straight.
And he's very candid about everything. He's not looking for personal publicity. He's just a great guy.
Third down and 3, and Young under a lot of pressure throws incomplete. The pressure was put on by Winfred Tubbs, the rookie from Texas, and there's a flag down in the secondary.
Tubbs and Ronaldo Turnbull both had almost an unobstructed run at Young. Haven't heard from Gordon McCarter in a while. We'll rectify that in a moment.
By the New Orleans Saints in the secondary, but was Young down at the time it happened? That might be the discussion.
Illegal contact, number 58, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And the first down that goes with it.
Darian Connor.
Let's take a look, I think, at the left side of our screen. Connor's 58, and there he is. I believe that's Brent Jones, the tight end. Ooh. He just locks him up and stays with him, and beyond the 5-yard line, now brings the flag. Frank, it's a question of was he beyond 5 yards?
Sure didn't look like it.
First down at the 43-yard line. Young throwing, and the catch is made by Nate Singleton for the touchdown.
Gary Rice, John Taylor, Brent Jones, Nate Singleton. Just thinking the same thing. Send a message.
That's his second touchdown reception of the year for Nate Singleton.
Out of 12 receptions.
Yeah, not too bad, huh?
Hey, that slant in. If the man in the coverage doesn't, when you're in a man for man,
We should just record
he's gone.
an audio cassette of so many weapons and just play it every offensive series for the 49ers. He beats Tyrone Hughes to the inside and then just runs away from the rest of the Saints defense. And no team in football gets more mileage out of the quick slant to the inside than do the 49ers.
Number 88 looks a lot like number 80 on
whether it's 80, 82, or 81, or 88, there are 4 receivers, the net result seems to always be the same.
Yes, sir. The Army-Navy game coming your way at noon Eastern Time and 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific. And then the SEC Championship game features the Crimson Tide against Florida. And then the Raiders and Chargers is our Monday night matchup from San Diego a week from tonight. Doug Bryan sends it down to the 6-yard line. Tyrone Hughes escapes a tackle at the 15 and brings it back out to the 34, and he's tackled there by Ed McCaffrey. 11:46 left in the fourth under the dome. 49ers 35, Saints 14. 49ers on top 35-14. 11:46 remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Saints have it at their own 33-yard line. Swings one out to Mario Bates, and Mario is out to the 45-yard line. That's a first down. He's tripped up by Ken Norton, who's had a relatively quiet evening. Ken started out in a new system, wasn't having much of an impact earlier this season, but he has played very well over the past couple of weeks.
And George Seifert was telling us last night how invigorating it has actually been to get to coach this many new people and incorporate them into his system. He said it really provides a spark that's kind of missing when you're coaching the same people year in and year out. And of course, I think every coach in the league
really invigorating, Dan, when most of them been to the Pro Bowl.
Well, and I think it's the case every coach in the league is going to have to work with more new people every year than any of them are used to on the professional level. Of course, in college you're used to it all the time, but in the NFL, you only get maybe a half a dozen new guys every year. They're kids mostly that you're working and developing. Now you're getting, like you say, Pro Bowl stars coming in trying to mold into a system.
Tim Norton, pretty invigorating. Deion Sanders, Ricky Jackson, second down and 10. And the catch is made by Michael Haynes, who takes it to the 50. The changeover has been so enormous, even with a team like the 49ers. The 49ers played in the Super Bowl following the 1989 season. There's not one man on the defensive unit who played in that game. Not one. And only 7 guys on the entire team, and all of them are offensive players. But you take a Ken Norton now, he's played in, a couple of Super Bowls. Let's see, we move around. Because I've got players that played in other Super Bowls. Third down and 4 from the 50-yard line. Everett, and the catch is made again by Michael Haynes. And that's a first down, and the 49ers will give them all they want underneath. When you lead by 21, doesn't matter. 10:30 remaining, fourth quarter.
21, a popular number here in New Orleans now.
It certainly is, especially along the river.
Games of chance are now legal here in the Crescent City.
Of course, if you play tennis as well as Al did today, and I understand you were overwhelmingly successful. Partially. From the 44-yard line, the catch is made by Torrance Small, and he is run out of bounds at the 30, and that's a first down. So the Saints attempting to get back in the game, and Everett mounting a nice little drive here. And trying to hurry it up as well. 7th-round draft pick. They were able to obtain Jim Everett from the Rams, and they are absolutely delighted they got him. Jim Mora thinks he's a real steal. When you talk to him about it, he does everything that you want him to do, and more than anything, he is very tough, very strong, and true over his career. 9 years now, he's only missed 1 game because of an injury. And the catch is made by Derek Brown, and he takes it to the 15-yard line. year ago. Has started a couple this year. But mostly that running chore has been taken over by Mario Bates to look at Arizona State.
There's the 10, and the pass is short, intended for Michael Haynes. It'll be second down and 10.
They actually threw a ball there to the guy that Deion Sanders was covering. That's about as close as Deion's been involved in anything in a while, and it one-hopped about 4 yards away from Michael Haynes. Deion's going, didn't I just do a great job on this one?
He actually was open.
Well, Deion's giving him some ground.
Well, we would know Michael Haynes better than Deion. I think it was worth to get him so many times in Atlanta.
Michael Haynes was there all 5 years of Sanders' tenure in Atlanta.
On second and 10, Everett throws a floater, and that's incomplete, intended for Quint Early at the 10-yard line. And Norton gave him a pop.
I think Eric Davis might have got the worst of that pop. It's fun for a linebacker in a situation like that. You're relatively stationary, and they're coming right at you, and all you really have to do is brace yourself, plant yourself, and you're the one that can deliver the blow.
Well, you're right. Number 25, Eric Davis, took the bulk of that shot.
Third down and 10 at the 17-yard line.
At the 10-yard line by Torrance Small. He is spun down there. It'll be fourth down and long 3. Merton Hanks makes the tackle, and the Saints down by 21 will go for it, obviously. Wade Wilson, the backup quarterback who was the starter last season, standing next to Jim Mora.
Guy's been in the league 14 years as Wade Wilson.
Fourth and short 5, just inside the 11-yard line. Here they come on the blitz. It's picked up, and the catch is not made at the 4-yard line. Torrance Small, the intended receiver, and the 49ers will get the ball back.
Boy, that was a nice job by Jim Everett. He read the blitz. Small read the blitz. And Jim Everett, I think, put the football, by all appearances, right where it had to be. Let's look at it from behind. Yeah. That's a catch you got to make, especially on fourth down.
Procedure, 2 hands.
Yep.
The very classy tackle of the 49ers, Harris Barton.
And classy, a very good choice of words, Al. He is everything off the field that he is on the field, and that is outstanding.
First and 10 from the 11-yard line. And Floyd picks up a couple. The 49ers will try to take as much time off the clock as they can. They're up comfortably by 21. Let's take a look at the QB comparison tonight. Just another terrific night for Steve Young. 4 touchdown passes, 238 yards. A whole other story for Jim Everett, who's averaging less than 6 yards per attempt. And that includes that 52-yarder.
Young had 4 touchdown passes a week ago with no interceptions.
And when you're 21 of 27, no interceptions and 4 TDs, that drives your quarterback rating right through the ceiling.
Second and 8 from the 13-yard line. The thing about Steve Young as he seeks a 4th consecutive passing title is not only is he leading the league again, as he has in each of the last 3+ years, he is the all-time leader in quarterback rating. He began the season trailing Joe Montana, and he's now moved in front of Joe again. It's a complicated formula, but there it is. The pass rating this season, 105.3. You're in the 90s. You're having a fabulous year. Jeff Blake, the young Cincinnati quarterback. There's Aikman, and Dan Marino's numbers went up yesterday.
Well, Blake's in pretty heady company there.
Yeah. Not the place you would have expected to find Jeff Blake at the start of this season.
Third down and 2, and the catch is made by Jerry Rice. Well, it's a funny thing. Here's Jerry Rice having for him a very quiet kind of night, and the 49ers have still put 35 points up on the board.
Sound advice. That rhymed with rice twice. Okay.
Again, the very safe part of the offense. A little out. Very high percentage stuff. This Bill Walsh offense.
You notice leading by 21, the main cast of characters for the 49ers is still hammering away at the Saints.
From the 28-yard line, one of that main cast is Ricky Waters picking up 3. Jerry Rice tonight has caught 6 balls for 51 yards. You know, I asked Jerry last night, I mean, you look at his numbers coming into the season. He's caught 79 balls now for over 1,000 yards again. I said, how would you rank this year? Good year, great year, average year? He said below average.
How much credit do you give Bill Walsh for trading up for Jerry Rice in that draft of 1985? What did he start when he had the vision to make that move to get Jerry Rice in a 49er uniform? I think a great deal.
2nd and 7, and it's Brent Jones making the catch over the middle, taking it up to the 35-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Well, there's no question he is one of the greats and probably the greatest receiver, but he's been also gifted and fortunate to play with this kind of a football team with Taylor across from him and this type of offense.
The Saints take a timeout. That's the lineup tomorrow night on ABC. Tim Allen starring as always in Home Improvement. Brett Butler and Grace Under Fire and the rest of the Tuesday night lineup. And on Wednesday night, Roseanne and Ellen DeGeneres featured on the left-hand portion of your screen, and the 5-star lineup on Wednesday night. 3rd down and 2 for the 49ers at the 36-yard line, and the 49ers.
We waited all that time for that?
49ers take a timeout. 5:34 still left in the fourth. Bud One Airship providing that spectacular sight. New Orleans floating high above the Crescent City. The Big Easy, where it's been anything but easy for the Saints tonight and this entire season. In fact, they're going to be 4-8 when this one is done, and the Niners are going to be 10-2 and the champs again of the NFC West. San Francisco on top, 35-14, 3rd and 2. 49ers from their own 36-yard line. Young to Rice.
And by the way, no team in the NFL will take their division championship more in stride than the San Francisco 49ers. To say that they go to training camp with that as an assumption would be an understatement.
Well, I'll tell you, this is perfectly thrown in between Tyrone Hughes and Vince Buck, the free safety coming over to help. They're double teaming, and they still get the completion.
I think Steve Young isn't going to be happy to leave here until he gets Jerry Rice a touchdown catch.
Jerry Rice, 7 catches tonight. That one good for 29 yards. There's Ricky Waters. Nice juke step, 5-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
You know, I'd referred to this as the West Coast offense. I got a letter a couple of weeks ago from Bill Walsh, and he sort of gave me the genesis of it, and he credited Sid Gilman and Weed Eubank, but he said, really, Bill Johnson, he said, why don't you call it the Cincinnati offense? And he defined it this way, if you got a moment. It's a concept, a theory based on detailed planning and the isolation and development of each skill, each facet, each tactic of offensive football. It required, it demanded cool, precise execution. Bill and I wanted our offense to be that of doing surgery on the opponent. We wanted it to be like the Cleveland Browns of the 50s, but with somewhat different emphasis. That's poetry.
Cordially yours.
Well, it was. It opened with a hello, Frank. That he enjoyed the telecast, but he's been credited with it so much, he wanted to include Weed Eubank and Bill Johnson of the Cincinnati Bengals when they were there. And that, of course, was the first Super Bowl that he was the offensive coordinator of back in, 1981 or 1979, I guess it was.
A gracious thing for Bill to do.
Yeah. And he wanted to say that Sid Gilman was a part of it, and Blanton Collier. Very gracious.
Well, Paul Brown didn't make too many big mistakes in his lifetime, but one of them was not making Bill Walsh the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals when they had the opportunity a number of years ago. 3rd and 4 as Ricky Waters fumbles, but Steve Wallace is right there to corral it at the 25-yard line.
tonight. We have had our share of fumbles and weird bounces and muffs and everything else. And we still have a player down on the field, one of the 49ers. We can see that's Steve Wallace was late getting up.
And they'll measure.
All right, here comes the hit right there. That's number 90, James Williams, who knocks the ball loose. Harris Martin was trying to get to the football, and Steve Wallace got underneath him.
And that's a first down. Ricky Waters tonight, 101 yards, 25 carries.
Right, pretty regularly around 100 yards. Gets a few receptions. We talked about it earlier.
And there it is. Steve Young, 44 yards on the ground. Floyd, 28. Dexter Carter with 1 carry. And, of course, Ricky's also picked up a few yards on receptions tonight. 7 different 49ers have caught the football. Floyd, another 10. Take a look at the guys who caught passes tonight. Jerry leading the way. Brent Jones with 2 touchdowns. Taylor with a score. Singleton 1 catch, good for 43 and a touch.
Not a bad average per catch for Singleton.
Is that what they call spreading it around?
Yeah, I think so.
I just saw that Arsenal.
And the man who put the brush to the palette, then to the canvas. Oh, right there, number 8.
4 times this season, 4 touchdown passes in the game. Marino with a record 6 in 1984.
He potentially could get another Joe Montana record, and that's touchdown pass for a season, and that'll send us scurrying to the numbers.
Rice and Steve Young, they're chasing Marino and Clayton now. They're setting their sights on the all-time combination here in the NFL. They'd like to get a ways to go, but not that far, and it's one has to make the assumption that it won't be that tough for them to do.
2-minute warning. 2 minutes until the 49ers are once again the champions of the NFC West. Superdome in New Orleans with 2 minutes to go.
That's a pretty dome.
And along the riverfront, one of the brand new casinos. Oh, yes.
Roll those bones.
Yo. 11. Pay. Had a little visit last night. It is 1st and 10 for the 49ers at the 12-yard line. Oh!
Now, wait a minute.
What is that, a fumble-rooski variation?
I think that was a fumbled exchange between center and quarterback that ended up looking better than it was supposed to be.
With all the bobbles, all the turnovers, and everything the 49ers have provided, they are lucky they're coming out of this game tonight.
Keep in mind, Bart Oates is on the sidelines. That's Derek Peace, and that ball never left the ground.
Chris Dahlman,
rather, not Deese. Deese is the right guard. Dahlman's in for Oates. That ball never left the ground. I haven't seen something like that happen in a long time.
He just squeezed it. It was like a grape seed. 2nd and 13 as Floyd takes it back to the original line of scrimmage. Well, the 49ers will clinch tonight. It takes them 12 games to do it. The league went to a 16-game schedule in 1978, and the earliest clinch ever, Chicago clinched the NFC Central in 85, the year they won the Super Bowl. And then Buffalo in 88, Denver, they went to the Super Bowl in 89, Chicago in 90, 49ers in 90, and now again in 94, clinching it in the 12th game. 3rd down and 4. Kenny Norton on another championship team. 3rd down and 10. Kneel down by Young, and that's going to do it. And George Seifert with a wave to Jim Mora. 2 classy guys. 49ers have reeled off 7 straight since that setback to Philadelphia, 40-8. 7 in a row, 10-2, 12 straight years in double figures in victories. Into the playoffs they go, again seeking home court advantage, which they own at the moment.
We talk so much about personnel and coaching. Not bad management, too. From top to bottom, the 49ers, some organization.
San Francisco wins at 35-14. Back with the final word in a moment. On Monday Night Football this year, 44-14 over the Raiders, and tonight 35-14 over the Saints. We'll see them again the night after Christmas when they take on the Minnesota Vikings, December the 26th. They win it tonight, 35-14. It's on to San Diego and the Red Hot Chargers against the Raiders next Monday night from Jack Murphy Stadium. We'll talk to you then. Until then, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, Lynn Swan. Good night from New Orleans.